Our first guest, Ekaterina, is on the show with us right now. Actually, she's in the studio with us. So, Ekaterina, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, my pleasure. Now, background on you just a little bit before we get into what your company does, and then I want to explore all of the facets of your company.
Wonderful. So my background, I'm originally from Moscow. Now a fully converted Dalasite. I don't think I could go back to anywhere whose colder temperature is like less than 40 anymore. I was just complaining the other day. I was like, this is too cold. It's not 90. But in the past, I've worked at art galleries. I've worked with different international magazines as their international art editor. And about a year ago, I started Artmail. It initially started as a subscription business, but now it's grown to retail. We're at Shops at Legacy at Firefly Trend. We also do curated original works to different clients, as well as working on some commercial projects for hotels and art for offices and different businesses. So we've evolved into a full-service art company.
That's wonderful. How did you start Artmail, and when it started and why?
So it was about 2 years ago, and I was working as the international art editor for Naked Magazine, which is kind of like Vice. It's very, very current and groundbreaking work. And in my past, I mean, I've lived in Paris, I've lived in Moscow, I lived in Scotland, and I had this extremely wide variety of people that I knew all around the world and friends of friends. And I had about 8 different contributors that were reporting to me every single week. You know, they were reporting different artists, they were reporting different art events or news in their different regions, you know, from Asia, South America, all over Europe, South Africa, all over the world. And over time, different issues began to emerge for international artists, where these artists were highly accomplished in their regions. I mean, they were absolutely incredible, but as far as moving them into the US market, they didn't really know when to start. And it might have been the language barrier, because sometimes I have to get a translator to work with some of my international artists.
Right.
Sometimes it's just the difficulty in finding a great art agent that they can work with, you know, because you have to kind of balance the two different sides of the brain, where you have the left side and the artists, and they need the right side, which is kind of developing the business, developing the practice, and all of the other boring stuff that they're not very good at.
Or don't want to do it.
Exactly. So that was one of the issues on the artist side. And then on the client and consumer side, I had so many friends. This is when I was still finishing up school. I had so many friends, and they said, you know, I don't understand how you do it. You know, you go to art openings every single week. You hang out with all these artists, and you know so much about it. And they were always just so intimidated. They said, you know, this gallery art, it's a very intimidating place, you know, and who's going to get an art history degree? I mean, I did, and I can tell you that it was extremely boring, and it was coming from someone who loves it. So kind of looking at these two issues and trying to fix them is how I started Artmail, where we have a subscription service that's actually curated to the different tastes that people have.
How does that work? I mean, how does a curated subscription service work for consumers?
So it's all based on the website. So if someone goes to the website, artmail.co, they would go to the subscribe button, and they would take a 1-minute visual survey of the kind of art that they like. So you don't need to know anything about art at all whatsoever to do this. It's all visual. You say, okay, great. I like these colors, you know, I like this, or I like black and white. I like something more modern. And then based on that, we curate these different works from artists all around the world. And we send them to you every month, every 2 months, or every 3 months. And every single print actually comes with an artist interview. So you can get to learn a little bit about what type of style it is. Is it modern? Is it impressionist? Is it abstract expressionist?
And what the artist was thinking when they created it.
Exactly. So it's like an insider look into art with zero effort on your part. It's so easy. And it also comes with a certificate of authenticity because all of the prints that we have are actually exclusive to Artmail.
Okay. Well, what about these startups? So you've got a lot of startups here, and they're establishing companies. I wanted to hear more about how you work with them and their businesses.
Mm-hmm. So, there's no better place for a startup than in Dallas, especially in Texas. Doing a startup here as compared to anywhere else, the costs are just so low. I think when I registered Artmail way back when, it was $300.
Right.
That's just unheard of. You go to California and you have to shell out like a month's rent or 2 months' rent just to do that. But we've started working with different startups because one of the large trends that we found in business is the improvement of the office decor and design and how it correlates with increased productivity and overall happier workers. And this is going from everyone. It's going from startups. It's going to companies like Google and Apple that are extremely focused on having a productive, nurturing environment to get the most out of workers.
What are you doing to expand your business? What's next for Artmail?
What's next for Artmail? Well, we are working much more on doing the different art for business. So if you have an office or if you have a business or if you know someone who does and they want to improve the design and up the morale a little bit and increase productivity, you can email me, Ekaterina@artmail.co for a free consultation. Or if you want some art for your home, you can go to our website, artmail.co, and check out what we have. We now have over 30 different artists from all over the world. So I'm sure we can find something that you'll love.
I'm sure you will. All right. One more time on your last name, because it's a little difficult for me.
Kousnetsova.
Kousnetsova. Okay, got it. All right. You've given the information that we need for everybody to reach you, but you're available on an international basis. It's not just here in Dallas. Am I getting it right? Yes.
So on the international basis, I do a little bit more of connecting because obviously it's difficult to curate a house in Berlin when you live in Dallas.
Right.
So on the international basis, I do a lot of connections with different artists and also different other curators that do live in that area.
All right, Ekaterina, we've got to stop it right here, but I want to have you back on the show, and maybe you'll sit in on a couple of shows for us in the future.
Fabulous. I can't wait.
Me too. All right, Ekaterina Kousnetsova, founder of Artmail.co. We're going to go to break right now. You've been listening to CEO Money with Michael Yorba. We'll be right back on the other side of this break, and when we come back, we'll be talking to Talia Goldstein, world-renowned matchmaker. We'll be right back after these messages.